And hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to Get a Grip with Coachy Lex. I'm your host, Coachy Lex, and with me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen Frederick.
Stephen, the medium, an attorney, and most importantly, my husband of going into how many years, Stephen? 32? 30 going into our... No, 32 going into 33.
Yeah, because if you got that wrong, there would have been a problem.
I was not going to get it wrong. So there. I know my numbers.
You do?
Yes,
so
I do.
Where are we going? Tell me again.
Okay.
Because I want to hear it. It's for everyone to hear. I want to hear. What did you just say?
We are celebrating 32 years and entering our 33rd year.
So April is going to be how many years?
32.
You're lucky.
Okay. I got it.
You are.
All right.
Yeah. You're very, very, very lucky.
Oh my God. We haven't. I'm just doing the intro, and you just started with me. So, anyways, that's Stephen the medium, and he's, he really is handsome and darling, most of the time. How are you?
Really?
How are you?
I'm excellent.
So it is Friday. We are in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's been frigid. We're waiting for a snowstorm coming very soon to a city near you, and you are loving every minute of it.
Well, I'm not getting too excited because I have to see it. I have to actually see it happen. I am very excited that over the past couple of winters, the past couple of years, these winters have stunk. They're just no good. They're barely cold. So this one is really what winter's supposed to be. So it's feeling really good with the coldness, but we just haven't had a lot of snow here on the Cape. So hopefully tomorrow night.
Clarification, what he means, because we are going to get snow, but he considers snow when we get a half a foot of snow, then that will be a real storm, a real winter storm.
Yeah, of course.
Anything other than that is nothing.
No.
So he's not happy. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I'm looking out and looking at the frozen pond or, the bits of snow here and there. I love it.
Well, you're going to even love a half a foot of snow, too. How beautiful it is, looking out the window and seeing that beauty. You know what else was beautiful this morning?
Me.
What was that?
What else is beautiful? You, me.
Sure.
And this morning, I know where you're going to go with this.
The 7 deer just galloping through our yard. It was just so beautiful.
Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And we are so lucky to live in a place where we are surrounded by Mother Nature. So, Stephen, tell everyone, what are you up to? What's going on? What are we doing?
Well, what we're doing currently, is entertaining a wonderful house guest. That's what we're doing.
Yes,
right?
And that's been actually quite fun for us because we've been staying at the house and hosting. I've been cooking every night. And then we sit down at the kitchen table and we just chat, and it's a lot of fun. So our friend Lorraine from Provincetown has been visiting since Wednesday, and will be here till tomorrow. She leaves back to Provincetown tomorrow. So shout out to Lorraine, who hopefully she is listening.
Hey, Lorraine. Well, maybe she may not be, because I think she's really focused on sewing with Nancy. Just saying, because she's a sewer. She's an incredible sewer alterations. I mean, she's just amazing. But I got to Wednesday, the day she got here, I got to go out with her and bring her through all the conservation land where I ran this morning. Brought it to the cranberry bog, and she loved it.
Because it's beautiful. That's just
it is
zen. It's just such a zen place to spend, and given the current state of affairs for all of us, it's just a beautiful place to escape and just get connected with Mother Nature.
And can I say something very quickly? That when we were talking last night, we were talking about this, the three of us, and I'm not sure we brought this up or not, but it's worth saying. So the last time went to New York was December, and we're in the lounge waiting for our train to get there. We're coming from New York home to Providence, and you're waiting for the board, and it pops up, and you're in the lounge, and they tell you ahead of time. So I see it. I'm like, oh, it's here. He looks, let's go, track 6. So the two of us get up, we grab our stuff, we get out of the lounge, we go downstairs, waiting on the escalator to go down track 6. They let us in. We get on the train, and I'm walking first, going to row 7, and I see a guy sitting in row 7. And I'm like, oh no! Like, hopefully it's just something easy. He miscalculated. He's in the wrong seat. So I walk up to him. I'm like, hi. I'm like, you're in our seats, because he was in 7A and we had 7A and B. So he's like pulling up and scrambling, getting his ticket, and looks at it, and it was like, no, I'm in the right seat. And he's like 7A. I'm like, are you sure? So the conductor hears us and comes over and says, like, what's going on? And we're like, well, I think he's in our seat. And then he said, let me see your ticket. So we pull it up. Yeah, we're on the wrong train. So.
Yeah. And that's because Steven, and I should have known when he said, oh, our train is here. I didn't see it, and I thought, that's weird. I didn't see it, but like a dummy, I just follow behind him. I don't look, I don't confirm, I don't ask, and here we are at the wrong train. If that train had left, we would have been
my God,
screwed.
And they don't a lot of times they don't give you a lot of time when they pull in, depending on if they're late or even if they're on schedule. Those doors close, and we were heading the opposite way. We were on a train going to Washington, right?
Yes, versus Boston. Yeah, funny now, was not funny then.
Well, it is. Of course it is. Well, listen, it was funny the whole time. I was laughing because we got off. It was no big deal. And I just thought, oh, my God, imagine what an adventure that would have been, that we would have had to wait till the next stop. We would have missed our train. It would have been an adventure. That's for damn sure. But
sure would have.
I don't really pay attention to details. Listen, 20 years of working as an attorney, I had to read everything. I had to read like punctuation marks, where they were, how they affect the sentence. So when I'm out of that venue or environment, I just go with the flow, love life. And I thought I saw that was the number. So
yeah. Yeah, you do not pay attention to anything, and you definitely do not read the fine print. That's for damn sure. So now that's become my job, to confirm everything, just to make sure.
That is true.
We don't get on the wrong train heading the wrong direction. So, anyways, what else is going on, Steven? What else is going on with you?
Well,
I know we got a lot happening, with both of us, but what's going on with you?
Yeah, we have a lot happening with my business, with your business, in our business as a collaboration. So
yes,
everything is so amazing. It really is so amazing. My readings, I just had a group Tuesday in my office, which is I have a maximum of 20 people, and those always get sold out. And that was a really, really good group of people, like amazing validations. And I think in a couple of weeks, I start a new course teaching, which is a remote course, which I'm really excited about. And I think in Yarmouth, March 2nd, whatever the Sunday is near March 2nd or 3rd, it's something, one of those days. I mean, one of those, the Sunday, but I don't know what the date is. I'm going back to Dunn & Sons, which I usually do like every a month and a half or so, I think I do.
Yeah.
And I just looked, and there's one ticket left there. So I'm sure that will be swooped up, and that's never not been sold out too, so which is a great thing. So everything is really good.
And let me just clarify for those of you who are listening and you just heard Steven talk about his course, and you said, what? What is that? He means a class. Ironically, I'm the one, he should be translating for me because Spanish is my first language, but for Steven, his accent, which is like, it's a Rhode Island accent, but it's New York accent, that appears to be his first language, and then, the traditional English. So what is it that you have coming up? A what?
Scusi?
Of
I there's nothing. That's the way. The normal way to say this word is course.
course. And we went
Course.
to where? Where was it that we missed the train? In what? New York?
New York.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
some
Course.
people, and I know you hear that all the time. What? What does he just say? Especially when you're talking about dogs,
No, dogs.
horses.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's funny when people when you know people and then I get to be introduced quickly or so. Then sort of offline, they're like, where's he from?
Yeah, they people again because the accent that you have is very very similar to a New York accent, and of course most people would recognize the New York accent. They think that you're from New York, except that you are from Rhode Island, and
That
it's
wonderful
not
state.
all of Rhode Island. This accent is only in certain parts of Rhode Island, right?
It is. It's like Providence, where I grew up, in Cranston, North Providence, Johnston, that surrounding area. Once you start getting a little bit further out of like Providence, then I think, and I don't know why the accent is not as strong, but
I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure.
they have an accent at all in
Well,
those
no, I think
areas.
I'm sure they still have a Rhode Island accent, but it's just I don't think it's as strong as it is right in the sort of the epicenter of like Providence and surrounding towns. So
But anyways, today, Stephen, we have an amazing show. One of our favorite people, our
yes,
Canadian or one of our Canadian friends, Donna
yes,
Carlin, it's in the house. And today we are talking about Beyond the Noise, finding clarity, confidence, and control. And honestly, Stephen, I can't even imagine what a perfect time to talk about Beyond the Noise, given everything that it's going on around
Lord, yes,
in the US and the world. And
yes.
I cannot imagine a better person to be talking to about. I think today Donna is probably going to become our coach and our therapist because there's nobody better than Donna to have this conversation with. So if you are listening, and like Stephen and I, you've been experiencing a whole lot of stress and anxiety and fear post election and everything that's been going on in this country, you want to listen to this show because this show, I guarantee it, this show is going to give you a sense of comfort. And Donna will guide us through how we can find clarity among ourselves, how we can find confidence to keep moving forward, and that self control that we all need. So we're going to take a small break, and when we come back, we are going to have the fabulous Canadian Donna Carlin, and we're going to talk about Beyond the Noise, finding clarity, confidence, and control. We'll be right back. And hello, everyone. Welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Helix. I'm your host, Coach Helix, and with me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen the Medium.
Stephen the Medium, who's also an attorney and my husband for 32 years, going into 33 years in April. And today we are talking beyond the noise, finding clarity, confidence, and control. And we have an amazing guest. Donna Carlin is a coaching psychologist who has been practicing for over 42 years. She's an international speaker, lecturer, author, and world-renowned leadership coach. Donna is often seen on the run with her clients through the halls of business and corporate headquarters, government agencies, and all over the world. And most importantly, Donna is a colleague, friend, a lifelong friend, and somebody that both Stephen and I trust and appreciate immensely. Welcome back to our show and our live Donna Carlin.
Hi, it's so good to be there, to be with you, and happy almost anniversary.
Thank you, thank you. You are the very, very first one to acknowledge that, and we love and appreciate you for that, Donna. So, Donna, oh my goodness, I just said before on the first segment before you joined that I don't think we could have chosen a better subject, finding clarity, confidence, and control beyond the noise, and a perfect person to guide us through this conversation. As you know, Donna, we're all, not only in the U.S., here more dramatically, of course, than perhaps around the world, but all over the world is experiencing fear, stress, anxiety post-election. And so there's a lot of noise out there. So I can't wait for you to help us navigate through this conversation that is so real for both Stephen and I and many of our listeners today. So start with, Donna, tell everyone a little bit about you, because I gave you a little bit of an introduction, but tell us a little bit about you, and then let's dive into this very deep and important subject for all of us.
So I'm sorry, it's my allergy season, even in the winter. I'm a coaching psychologist. I am not a clinical psychologist. I'm an organizational psychologist. But I look at how humans behave within an organizational context and what the organizations are doing to support or not their people. There's a lot going on right now that impact both, and a lot of fear-based decision-making. People are nervous, and they're operating from that perspective. So I'm bringing a lot of experience and personal experience to the table when I am working with them to help them see a totally different and better perspective. That is for sure. And I've been doing this work for a very long time. And every client I work with, I learn so much from that I take on to working with the next client and the one after. It's all about human beings and how we're consistently becoming something different and new and better as we grow older and we learn from life. So, and I was listening to what you said about, the fears, the insecurity, everything going on since the election. I'm going to also add to that what has been going on north of the border has also been very discombobulating because of the tariff conversations and the threats to people's well-being and business. So it's both sides of the border for different reasons, obviously. Both very intense.
Absolutely, Donna. And we could say the world is filled with distractions, lots of noise going on. How do you define clarity? What does that mean to any of us?
I really believe clarity begins with absolutely having a sense of who we are and what we're made of. And I could almost guarantee that every single person who's listening to this show has been through some kind of traumatic situation or chaotic time in their life where when they got to the other side of it, they looked at themselves and said, I didn't even realize how strong I was. And I never thought I would get beyond it. Yes, there's people who are, deeply, deeply, how could I put this, affected by what they're going through. And as they navigate it, they usually do it from a perspective of wanting to hold on to what was. And that clarity starts with, I know that this is who I am. And I know this is what I'm made of. And I'm going to take stock of that and actually look at how I could use it to increase my confidence and navigate whatever's thrown at me in moving forward. That's a starting point.
And for someone, for me, for Stephen, because we're in this conversation often, this is what we do, and for you as well. When you talk about knowing who you are and knowing what you're made of, that comes very easy for both of us. We live inside purpose. But for somebody, an everyday person that may or may not thought about that, how do they find that for themselves, Donna?
I think it's looking at what you want the desired end result to be. Look, we've worked in a field where really understanding human beings is central to what it is that we do. There's no question. Mm-hmm. I could honestly tell you, though, when you hear the words, and like from my perspective, you have cancer, that's not something I ever dealt with personally before. I have worked with other people and people whose children have cancer. That was, where I started in this field. I was never told myself, you have cancer. And all of a sudden, your world, everything you've planned, everything that you are about to be doing comes to a stop because you have to navigate through those words, you have cancer. And so it's saying, okay, what can I do? That's the first question. If you find one thing that you could do or one perspective that you could hold on to that keeps you centered, that's a step to finding clarity and understanding what you're made of. Most of the time, and like I use an analogy of a woman looking at the front window at her child playing in the driveway, and she's meek and mild and a typical soft-spoken person who loves her child intensely, and sees a car run up into her driveway and hit her child, and she comes tearing out of the house and almost physically yanks the door open and pulls the driver out and tells him, you help me get this car off my child, and has like superhuman strength. You don't know what you're made of until you go through that kind of situation. And even us who work with people day in and day out, we don't know what we're made of until we're faced with something that totally takes the control away from us. And then,
which is what we feel it's going on right now for us.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Exactly. Everything that we do is questionable. Everything we say could be questioned. We don't know if, what we're talking about will be misconstrued and shared in the wrong way with somebody. Like, there is so much that we could be afraid of, and there's also so much that we can do that gives us back some control and some confidence that we are doing the right thing. We're saying the right thing. And there's people who are sharing on social media, especially horrendous things. I don't care what you think of a human being. You be human when you talk about them. Don't become the person that you're attacking, because then somebody else will look at you in the same lens. So what is it that you could say, what could you do from integrity and from a place of human value? Because we need to set an example.
I love listening to you and what you're saying, and that is a personal struggle for me, because I lived my whole life living core values like love, empathy, respect, and but I find myself so angry at moments, so hurt at moments, and I don't know how to self-regulate that. And sometimes I
Mhm.
think the anger sort of leads the way, and I forget. I have to keep reminding myself, no, no, you got to live into those core values. That is what you're made of. To go back to your original statement, love, respect, empathy.
Mhm.
How do you remind yourself ongoingly? Because this is an ongoing thing. This is not a once and you're done conversation.
No, it's not. It's funny. I was just talking to a client actually who brought something up in a political sense, and I looked at him and I said, "I don't want to get lost in that noise. If we go to politics, we're going to be talking about things that aren't going to serve you or me in serving you. So let's set boundaries and figure out what we could do together to get you to where you want to go in the best possible way." I have a boundary that I set to my clients anywhere in the world. I don't talk politics because they all ask me what is my opinion of what's going on, all of them. And I don't talk religion. Those two things are hot subjects and totally distract us from talking about what we need to speak about.
Wow.
I remember working in New York City, and somebody asked me. I get asked the most difficult questions. It's unbelievable. So somebody looked at me. This is years ago, and wanted to know that if coaches are supposed to be non-judgmental, and that's a tenet of coaching, what would you do if Osama bin Laden came to you for coaching? And of course, you know me. I speak truth. I go, what am I supposed to work with him on to be a better terrorist? And they looked at me. They weren't expecting that. I said, I have to set my boundaries and decide who I'm going to work with and who I won't. I need to be able to trust that they're going to use what we're doing together. So, do I think somebody like that is coachable? Not right now. Doesn't mean that maybe one day he wouldn't be. And I
Wow,
left
that's
it
so
there.
powerful. Yeah, that's so powerful, Donna. Donna, we need to take a small break. Hang in there with us. I know Stephen has questions. I have more questions. I have somebody on the live stream who also has a comment. Hang in there. We'll be right back. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Helix. I'm your host, Coach Helix, and with me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen Frederick.
And we are talking beyond the noise, finding clarity, confidence, and control. And for that, we have the an expert in the subject matter, Donna Carlin, who is an international speaker and renowned leadership coach with 40 plus years of experience. Donna, welcome back. And Donna, I'm going to hand it off to Stephen.
Hey, Donna.
Hey, hi.
I have a question for you. So when I was just listening to the last segment, it's hard for me to sort of process like I would normally process what you just said. And I think Helix alluded to the same kind of conversation about how it's hard to hold on to integrity. I know for me and for a lot of people, I don't want to, if I was talking to a coach, I don't need to get into politics and ask what my coach, what side they're on, what they think. And I wouldn't even bring that up. But what I would bring up is how I'm feeling because the effect of what's going on in politics. And I just had this conversation with Helix. I just posted something on Facebook that I had never done to the degree that I did because of where I'm sitting. And I said to Helix yesterday, those days of Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high, is out the window. Because what we're dealing with, for myself, when I see we're now turned the corner and now we're going backwards. My rights are going to be, they already filed petitions about reversing same-sex marriage, and those are my rights. And it's hard to sit here right now and say, you know, I'm not going to go to that level because look what it has gotten or got me right now because of the environment in where I am and where a lot of LGBTQ people are and a lot of other people that are in different categories. So if you were in a conversation with me, coaching me, what would your feedback be for me or your advice or what would you say to me?
So I really appreciate this question. And I wouldn't give advice because that's not what we do. What we do is help you clear the clutter to see what is really occurring for you. And if you brought up the effect of what's going on you, I absolutely would go there. That's very different than talking about who do I side with and who do I support and those kinds of conversations. This profoundly affects you and others that I speak to on a daily basis. What would I tell you to do? I would ask you to look at what you're made of. If the policies change, if the laws change, if you lose some of your rights, you don't lose all of your rights. So I would say, have you looked at options? You're going on, 33 years with Helix, which is extraordinary. And I know I could say to you something, and it's not flippant, that a document does not in any way, shape, or form make you less of a couple and make you love each other less. And there might be options available to you. I don't know about that. What I could tell you is don't lose the love, don't lose the closeness. Just look at what you do have. And that's going to help create a foundation for you to live from. It's, this is very discombobulating because we don't know what's next. We don't know the next thing that's going to, I can't say become law because it's not necessarily law, be in order. I don't know. What I do know is you have aspects of your life. You have an incredible gift. That doesn't go away when somebody else tells you that you're not a couple or that you don't have this right. You are such an extraordinary human being. That doesn't change. So I would ask you, how do you do more and give more and help people more, regardless of what's going on around you, and focus on the gifts in your life? That's the starting point. And then have a support system that'll help you navigate the chaos. because that'll help you. Even, I mean, half the time my clients will say, okay, the next 10 minutes I need to vent, because they could tell me things that they don't tell anybody else. Okay, vent away. Get it out. Purge it. Let's see how you process this. And I want to see how they're thinking and how they view themselves within it. And we go to places in that conversation they didn't expect. So you have a fabulous partner, and so does Elic. And I would say, just listen and ask to be listened to. That's the starting point. I don't know if that was helpful or not. I hope so.
Absolutely, it was. Yes, it was. It's a perspective it's a level of perspective that I don't get to. I mean, of course, as you're speaking, because I'm sitting in this, I'm ready to nope, Donna, nope, and just argue, nope. But I think I think what you're giving me and I'm sure all the audience is that root that you need to go back to and really the root that you can hold on to right now, and then just remember that's where the foundation is, and then go from there, which is really important, Donna. So thank you.
We used to run a program called the Environments of You, and this is a perfect time to do that. It's what are the environments that surround you so that you navigate through hell with no energy whatsoever. Could you imagine being able to do that? So it's everything from what is your mimetic environment or the thought process by which you process everything and filter everything. And you were talking about that, right? You're in a place where you're angry, and so you're filtering things through that anger. So you look at the mimetic environment and how you build that up, and your relational environment, and your network environment, and your physical space, and you're living in a beautiful location, so that physical space can nourish you. And your space, like in your office and your home and everything else, and that nothing in there detracts from being loving being in there, and your financial environment and all of this. And if you build each environment up to such an extent that when you have no energy because of things that are going on in your life, your environments pull you forward with no energy whatsoever. I've lived by that through so many traumatic events in my life. It's incredible because it literally helped me get through them without depleting myself. And I even got healthier going through some of these things because of it. So, we could talk offline about that. Certainly, what are the environments that you could build up, especially now, and do it together perhaps or individually, whatever works for you guys. It's, it's looking for those tools.
I love that. Thank you. Donna, as I'm listening and as we're sort of like unraveling this conversation, I'm most present to how a lot of our feelings are founded on fear, right? Which is a very part of our human instinct, being afraid of what's going to happen. And I know when you talk about confidence, fear can diminish confidence. But I also know that talk about control, fear is a way to give away your power, which in essence, you're giving away control. So what would you say to anyone who's listening that, because again, fear is not going to go away. It's part of our humanness, right? So how do we embrace the fear, but not give power to the fear?
Fear is a barometer. We have fear for a reason. It protects us. Now, when we make decisions based on that fear, we're not seeing the rest of the world. We're just navigating through that fear. There's more to everything than what we're fearful of. And that's the key. Looking at fear, I ask myself, what am I really afraid of? It's usually not the circumstance, it's the result of what that circumstance is and not knowing what it will be. That's that's really key. I always say, in order to get back your confidence, look at all the times in your life that you did something and was successful, and who you were when you did it. You know, for somebody who's been through cancer twice, who's been hit by a tornado, I mean, seriously, it's like the world has it in for me sometimes. That's what I think. And I say to myself, I don't have control over what will be with the cancer, but I could live every day fully, regardless of whether or not it comes back. I hope it doesn't, obviously. And every year when I go for my scan, well, twice a year when I go for my scans, like I take a breath. It doesn't stop me from planning what my future is. And some people won't. They won't plan their future in case, they have to deal with it. I don't live my life that way, because we are people who deal with these kinds of trauma and circumstances. We aren't that trauma and circumstance. So it's a matter of looking at fear and saying, what is it telling me that's to my benefit? That's the question. I think on one of the previous shows, I talked about a lab that I do about fear, and to look fear in the face and what does it mean. And somebody wanted to get rid of her fear and replace it with confidence. And I brought her into my lab. It was like a mythical lab. And we talked about that. And I said, okay, you want to get rid of your fear and embrace confidence? So if you're cold and you see a fire, you're going to put your hand right in it because you don't fear the flame. And she looked at me. I said, you're walking down the street. You have thugs with weapons following you. You don't know to run to safety because you have no fear. We need to use fear in order to navigate life. The question is, what is it telling us? What is the safety part of it? And that's what's going to help us keep our heads on straight. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense, Donna. Thank you for sharing that. Donna, we need to take another break. Hang in there with us. We have some more questions, and we're going to take a small break, and we'll be right back. And hello, everyone. Welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elex. I'm your host, Coach Elex, and with me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen Frederick.
And he's also my amazing husband and a medium. He talks to dead people. And we are here with also an amazing guest, Donna Carlin, our friend, colleague, and Canadian friend, who is here helping us navigate the conversation about beyond the noise, finding clarity, confidence, and control. Hello, and thank you again, Donna, for being with us. And
Pleasure.
thank you for the amazing conversation that we've had so far. So, Donna, by the way, somebody in the live stream, I want to acknowledge this. I think you've already answered this, but if there's anything else you want to offer her, you can. She says that she has experienced trauma in her life, and the current political situation, it's really putting her in a place of often panic and defense mode, and she wants to know how to avoid that.
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. I would tell her it's not about avoiding it. It's about putting things in place so that you're able to navigate it and come out stronger. And, finding your support systems and talking it through with people that you really trust is probably the best thing that I could suggest. It's finding people who will listen to you and not judge for what you say. You have the right to be upset. That's the other thing. I really get ticked off by some practitioners who go to the, how does this make you feel? And how could you feel differently? Or try to process everything to the extent that people are on this even keel. I don't believe in that. I believe that we have the right to be ticked off about things. We have the right to be afraid of things. We have the right to be overwhelmed with things. Then what do we do with it? That's where, the support systems are critical. Find somebody that you could say, this is how I'm feeling right now. It might not even be rational. I'm still feeling it. And talking it through with somebody who is a trusted friend, family member, whoever, clergy person, it doesn't matter, will help you unload and possibly through that conversation see a light at the end of the tunnel. That is the best thing that you could do for yourself right now. Overwhelm gets more overwhelmed. The minute you feel that coming on, ask yourself, who can I speak to right now? What could I listen to right now if you can't reach somebody? Find a podcast that you love. I'm not kidding. Find somebody to follow that has words of wisdom that are really profound that could help you see the other side of the coin. And that's what I really strongly suggest that you do. And I really hope you get to the other side sooner than later by doing that.
So, in essence, you actually answered the question. I wanted to ask you, what is one daily practice or habit that you could take on, develop to maintain clarity, confidence, and control in your life? And that is one thing that would be a daily practice or habit, to seek something or someone that can help you or that can help you come out of that space, fear-based space. How do you? And this is a question, because a closing question, because we're at the top of the hour. So I wanna wrap this up for our listeners. Why is it important to have clarity, confidence, and control? And how does all three of them work together to create a fulfilling and purpose-driven life for all of us?
Confidence, I'm going to start there, will give us the impetus to make choices that we trust. Finding clarity, you know what, in this day and age, we don't know what's around the corner. We could have clarity for what's going on right now and who we are within it. Clarity for what's going to happen next week, not so sure. So dance in real time with the chaos. Find a way to use it to energize you rather than demolish you. That's the only control that you're going to have. To control exactly your approach to things, not how you're going to behave in the moment. You could control how you view it, and then in turn you do with it. As long as you have confidence in yourself and that you know what's good for you, because it's not for somebody else to dictate what's good for you. I'm not talking medical advice and that kind of stuff. Don't ever ask for advice from somebody who you don't respect, first of all. And the only control you have is to look at things from multiple perspectives. It's not an either-or world. It's a yes-and world. So ask yourself, if I think I can't do something because it's been taken away from me, the question is, how can I do it even to a different extent? Look at those cracks, those possibilities. That's the control that you're going to have. And that's the start. I'd love to say find a coach, except I don't want this to be, it's not marketing. I'm looking for clients. What I'm doing is suggesting that people get somebody in their lives to help them see possibility.
But I think it is very appropriate if you can get to that on your own, find a coach. I would say, I'm saying that for you. Find a coach, somebody that can help you navigate that conversation. The other thing I would add to that, Donna, is we often so hard on ourselves and we don't give ourselves grace. So I would just add, just give yourself some grace. What would you say about that?
That's beautifully put. I don't say it as nicely. I say cut yourself some slack. I mean, seriously, we're not perfect. And I don't ever want to be perfect. I could tell you, I keep my husband guessing because he never knows what's going to come out of my mouth. So, keep some humor in your life. That's for sure. And cut yourself some slack because being perfect is really hard to live up to.
Interestingly enough, Stephen and I had that conversation earlier today because I actually did say that to him. I said, Stephen, there's no such thing as perfection. I mean, if that's what we strive for, we're going to be working really, really hard. But what we couldn't strive for is learning to recognize when we make a left turn and learning or mastering the ability to self-correct in the moment. That is achievable. Perfection, not necessarily, but making those corrections in real time is actually something that I strive for, and Stephen and I were talking about that today.
I will tell you what I tell my clients. If you want to be perfect, there's nothing after that. Nothing. Because perfect means there's nothing more. You want to be at a point in your life where there's nothing more? Each one of them say absolutely not.
I love that. Stephen, any parting thoughts for our friend Donna?
No, Donna, thank you. As always, when you come on here, it is eye-opening, and we're just so excited and so happy that you keep coming back because we want you to keep coming back. Anytime.
It's a pleasure.
And Donna, our only other request is I hope you have an extra room for two guests in the event that we need to come see you sooner than later. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you have it, Stephen. We have room. We can call Donna. But Donna, listen, people are going to be curious about how they connect with you, how they learn more about you, how they find you. Donna is one of a kind, and I cannot tell you, our listener, enough about this extraordinary human being, and you should absolutely find her and connect with her. So how can they find you and connect with you and your work?
The best way is through my portal site, donnacarlin.com, Carlin with a K. And it's up on your social media posts. There's only 3 W's, not 6, by the way. So it's www.donnacarlin.com, and that is my portal. So you could reach like any of my work, you could see me on social media. All of that is through that website. It's the best way to get hold of me.
Fabulous. So there you have it, DonnaCarlin.com. Donna, thank you so much. Our time flies by because we're so fascinated by our conversation together. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again for sharing your time and your attention so generously with us. And we love you, and we can't wait to see you very, very soon. And thank you for sharing your time with our listeners.
Oh, thank you. You take care, you guys.
Thanks, Donna.
Oh, my goodness, Stephen. So here we are, top of the hour. That was a fascinating conversation once again.
Yeah, it's in a necessary conversation, so I love it.
I love it, too. Stephen, tell people how they can find you.
Stephen the Medium. That's it.
Stephen the
Website,
Medium.
Stephen the Medium. Social media, Stephen the Medium. Everything, Stephen the Medium.
And you can find me at Coach Helix. And if you're listening, stay tuned so that you can listen to our producer, Mark Clark, and his upcoming radio show, Mark's Shookbox. And we'll be back next week for another amazing conversation. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back with you next Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.